Outside of Benny's Bakery. Got a bunch of donuts before we take off tonight. But before we get into the episode, we talk about best music of 2022, best producers. We also get into blockchain technology and how to decentralize music. We hope you enjoy it. Let us know what you think below.
I never had to tell my dogs that we on road for greatness. They paper getters, they want money more than they want fame shit. I swear we go so hard, we on A-list. I see my niggas prevailing. We going hard for the hand. We gonna stack till we jaded. I just told my niggas that we on a mission. Yeah. It's gonna be hard to get it. We too on par for the misses. I put my heart and my feelings on tracks I don't even feel.
Welcome back to the Real Oshow podcast. Got a special one today because it's just me and Joshua. We haven't sat down, me and him, since the first podcast I think we put out here.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a couple things today. Going to talk best music of 2022, best songs of 2022. We're also going to get into some producer tags. If you don't know what that is, stay around for that. We'll kind of explain it if you don't know, but if you like music, you probably know what a producer tag is. So we're going to talk about our favorite. We have some examples we're going to go through. And then maybe we talk about the blockchain and music and how it will help the music industry grow and become more decentralized. But let's get into it. Top five songs, or not top five songs, top five albums we're going to get into.
Yeah, let's do top five albums first. So I constructed a list of my top five, and I'll hit it from the first. So this is in no particular order.
I think I'm going to agree with you a lot on these, though.
Yeah, but it's okay. I mean, so I got number one, honestly, never mind Drake, which arguably is a dance album. So if we're talking like rap, hip hop, arguably a dance album. But it's Drake. We're talking Drake. Yeah, with Drake, I like. I Never Liked You, Future.
Yeah.
Obviously has probably some decade songs,
It has one generational song. One generational song.
And then I got Beautiful Minds, Rod Wave, Roderick, Murdered It.
Yes.
And then I got Drip Season Forever, Gunna.
Yeah,
Gunna.
that's a good one.
That
was a really good one.
I think we talked about it.
I think that one went low key almost. It was really good, and I don't think it was talked about enough. And even for me, because I would say I was late on Gunna. I don't know. There was something about it. That I didn't like his music. I never listened to it. I would hear his stuff. I'm like, I can see why people like him, but I never sat actually listened to it. And that Drip Forever season was the first album I actually listened to, top to bottom. Gunna, tried to understand it, and I fell in love with him.
Bro, Gunna, I think that's Gunna's first album where he kind of went a little slower too, but that's hot. Slow Gunna is hot.
Bro, you got to be able to rap on the slow beat.
For sure.
Slow beat.
100%. And then I got 7220 with Lil Durk. I mean, that alone had almost 40 songs or something.
It was with the music
with
videos.
The deluxe.
I did it wrong.
With the deluxe.
It was 30.
It was 30.
It's 32. It's 32 songs because there's 8 music videos on it. So 32 songs. I'll say it right now. I think Lil Durk has the album of the year. I just think the growth that Lil Durk's been on, because I think that should come into account. It should be you see the growth of an artist and the way he has continued to improve. Everything he puts out is better than what he just put out, and he's just taken that next level. I think he deserves album of the year, and I love Drake. Honestly, never mind. Obviously, I'm a Rod Wave fan club owner, whatever you want to say, but I still would say Lil Durk is the best project I've heard this year.
Lil Durk has some hot songs. I mean, I like how he does it because he drops the album and then way later he drops the deluxe to just keep you thinking about it again.
Let's
and
get the songs back.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the way to do it.
I mean, I think those top five, and let's be honest here, this is a loose top five. We're not
sitting here
sitting here saying this is and then I got a couple honorable mentions that I wrote down because I thought that they were. Well,
I know you didn't write down this one. Honorable mention, which I could probably put in my top five, is No Cap, Mr. Crawford. Joshua hasn't spent as much time with No Cap, but he's incredibly impressive, young, 22 years old. Will absolutely take over the music game. That's my honorable mention, but I could honestly put him in top five too.
For sure. Fine. I mean, I do like some No Cap songs. Like I said, I listened to it. I downloaded 5 or 6 songs off the album.
For sure.
So I got honorable mentions. I got Back for Everything, Kodak Black, which again arguably has
That's
maybe a generational song on
It's a
there.
generational song. Vulnerable is the one we're talking about. That's probably a generational song.
Vulnerable, Free Cool, Kodak Black.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, he even has like I Wish on there. Like, there's some
No.
real
Bro,
hits.
Kodak could honestly be in top 5 too, just
Kodak.
because Kodak's gonna be one of the best ever.
Kodak is. I've been telling
And once
you for
again,
years.
another guy I was late on too.
For
I was
sure.
late.
I told you that years ago.
I just never spent time listening to him.
Yeah, hey, I've been on Durk for a while. I've been on Kodak for a while.
Man, I've been on Durk since high school.
I'll be honest with you. So I found Little Durk. I found Little Durk through, and same Kyle from Nelk. He said the reason why he found Little Durk was through Nav, which is funny because that's how I found out about Little Durk, because I was watching a little Nav interview.
Hey, well, that's a great spinoff. Nav just dropped his album,
sure.
which we haven't had enough time to really dissect it. Demons Protected by Angels, and Nav is just incredibly and just consistent. And I think that is where Nav gets overlooked. Not only is he a producer and he can rap, also came out and said he's never paid for a feature, so he has the respect in the rap game to pretty much do that. But he's overlooked because of how consistent he is.
I agree. I mean, he also runs with like Cash and Abel, so that's you're gonna have some pull for sure.
For sure. Yeah,
So
that
EXO game,
pretty impressive.
they're pretty impressive. Everyone's talented. But yeah, not gonna discount anything from Nav because I've been a day one Nav fan. So
honorable mention.
honorable mention for sure. I got Come Back, The Kids Miss You, Jack Harlow.
Yes.
Absolute hits.
Yeah, and
I mean hits.
It just goes to show,
He's gonna
only
be-
white boy doing it.
He's gonna be up. I mean, you could argue Post Malone too.
Oh, yeah,
Which is again,
yeah. Post
again,
Malone's another honorable mention.
another
for sure.
honorable mention. 12th Carat Toothache. Another honorable mention. Absolute hits. Like you like this. You think it's his best work?
I mean, Post Malone, that's probably his best work. Man, you're saying all these, and it's like, bro, I could put these in my top 5.
But that's what I'm saying.
this year.
That's why I was looking at everything and I'm like, damn. And I was online because I was like, man, I want to know what other people think is their top 5. My top 5 and my honorable mentions. The only one that was like really up there was like, honestly, never mind. I never liked you, and Mr. Morale, the Big Stepper, which is another honorable mention for me, which is Kendrick because he's a GOAT. He's got some hits on the song. Again, a hot Kodak feature that I was showing you again today. It's just like,
yeah. I mean, I didn't spend enough time with Kendrick. I think Kendrick is a no doubt greatest of all time. I haven't spent enough time listening to him, but I do hold tight. Some songs he dropped when we were kids and when we only had the radio, where it's like it was playing all the time. It was like Lil Wayne. Like Lil Wayne was our childhood because of how often he was on the radio.
no, I 100% agree. Okay, let's switch it up. So we talked albums. Obviously, a lot of good albums in that. I think
A lot of good music 2022. This is probably one of the better years.
I will say this though, you got to understand. I was just thinking about that. And I was like, why is there so much good music? This isn't a regular year for music, but it's pandemic music. If you think about it, all these artists were during the pandemic. Like they probably made 4 albums over again.
For sure.
I mean, that's why do you think Drake dropped back-to-back albums? Well, that guy has so much music, he don't even know what to do with it.
Well, I also think just doing the dance album was something different. Also thought what I said was more of an international album, an international play. But it's also something Drake has probably been doing for years. And he finally did it. Plus, there was a rumor that Beyonce... Jeez, my mouth is dry as fuck. Beyonce was going to drop a similar dance album, and he wanted to beat her to it. That was the rumor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Beyonce... He was trying to beat
because
the queen.
he wanted to be first to the market with it. Because if Beyonce dropped, then he did something big. Oh, he got the idea from Beyonce.
For sure.
And that was a rumor. I don't know. I read it and it makes a lot of sense because they were saying Drake has full control over his music. If he wants to drop, he can drop.
Right.
Whereas Beyonce has to go through a lot more hoops. It might be a week or two, and that's still a lot of pull. But Drake's just his own.
Yeah.
He's his own business.
Drake's the GOAT.
Sure.
Okay, let's transition. Top 5 songs. Again, this is not even 5 songs. I think I have 10 songs on here, but a lot of honorable mentions.
Tough for me.
So
the only one I can for sure agree on, which I'm assuming is your number one, is "Wait for You" with Thames, Future, and Drake. That's a generational song. That's my only one I could say in the top 5 where I'm like, you know what, that's for sure number one and for sure should be in the top 5. Outside of that, it's very
what about
loose.
Vulnerable?
Oh, vulnerable. Okay.
Okay.
Like that's two.
So-
that's two generational songs in 2022.
For sure.
That's pretty impressive.
This one is off. This one's off. Honestly, never mind. But Tie the Binds. That's a selfish favorite.
That's not.
But it's not a top
song.
five
It's
song.
not top-
Selfish.
You'd
favorite.
say if you took a top 5 song off that album, you'd say like
Say
Sticky,
Sticky. But Jimmy
or
Cooks.
or the Jimmy Cooks. Like those would be
But
the top. Those would be the top.
Let's
songs
be
off that.
honest though, as like a music point, bro, Tie the Binds is top.
I think that whole album
top notch.
continues to go over a
top
lot of
notch.
people's head. Every time I listen to it, it gets better. That is one of Drake's probably best pieces of work, and I think it's also good vibes. It's different than any album he's ever put out. Which, bro, Drake needs to continue to do stuff like that. Bro, DJ Khaled said it best. What Drake like, I like. You know, it's just, bro. He's an artist. He's painting on a canvas when he's in the booth. Like
sure.
he is so great. You just take the music that he wants to put out, and you're like, bro, thank you. Like, just thank you.
Absolutely.
That's what it's about.
So then I got No Deal, Rod Wave, and obviously there's a ton of songs out there. Like we said, I like.
I'm still going back and forth on my favorite for Rod Wave.
I mean, my off that album, I got No Deal, Alone, Pieces. Like, bro, there's so many good songs off that.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard. No Deal's for sure one of my favorite songs off Beautiful Minds, Rod Wave, but I need more time with that. I mean, that's.
sure.
I mean, Rod
Still-
Wave had only dropped a month.
That's what I'm saying.
Ago.
Still time to digest it. And then I got What Happened to Virgil, Lil Durk, which is
With
also
Gunna.
featuring Gunna, which is an absolute
That's
absolute
hot.
hit.
That's hot.
So some of the honorable mentions.
Which I don't think is the best song on that album, but that's just
Oh.
me as well.
I mean, it probably not, but still a hot song.
The grow up one. That's probably.
So I
that's probably
had
the best
I had
one.
Grow Up, Keep It on the Speaker. I had that on
That's
the
probably the
top
best
5.
one.
That's my second most played song of 2022 on my phone. So I'm like, bro, that's got to be a top song.
What's
But
your number one?
My number one, I mean, I guess I could look, but beside the point, I think it's Wait For You. So let's keep it
What
going.
are you waiting for?
Love You Better by Future.
But that's not the best song on that album. That's not the best
That's
song.
what do you mean? I'm just saying, like, that's like GOAT Future.
I
That's
think
GOAT Future. Like, bro,
I think Go Future's Back to the Basics.
Back to Basics is a good song off the album for sure. For sure.
I think that. I think
All right.
Future's album. Is
I'll
pretty
continue
impressive.
going. I'll continue
Bro,
going.
But we got the similar taste in music, so I see what you're doing. You're pulling songs off the albums that you really like.
That's I can't pull off, like, I got some other ones. So, like, this is the one that's not on any of the albums we were talking about before, which was Never Leave, Tuesday featuring JQ or whatever.
Which if we want to talk about Tuesday, one of my like selfish favorites. I said if I ever made music, I would try to make music like Tuesday. Like that is the music I would make. Also, that 3-pack is probably some of Tuesday's best work. Also, anticipating him to possibly drop an album 2022 as well, which would be great because his growth is. I've said it before. Him and Tory Lanez kind of are the same vibes. Tory Lanez kind of does a lot of different things, which I think Tory Lanez is great in the music game and forever be always prevalent because of social media, because of like quarantine radio that he did.
Yeah.
He also controls like all of his music. He does all his music videos. Like his overhead is so small and he does it right to where he'll always be relevant. But I've always said like Tory Lanez and Tuesday were similar, but I think Tuesday makes more music that I wish Tory Lanez made. Like I wish Tory Lanez would make it.
For sure.
But yes, that's a top song
For
of
sure.
2022.
So then I got Block List, Lil Durk, which we watched live. So shout out. Obviously a hot song.
That song is hot.
And then I got the last one I put on here was Missing Me, Gunna, which is, again,
Yeah, dude, Missing Me, Gunna.
There's
What's
a couple other
there's-
ones.
What's the other one on that one? Missing Me.
I mean, there's definitely a couple. I mean,
It's the last song on the album. What is it?
I don't know. There's like Living Wild on that.
Living
There's-
Wild's good too.
I mean, I'd have to
Man,
look it
Free
up.
Gunna, Free Thug, for sure.
I almost put the Thug album, but I realized he dropped that at the end of 2021. So I guess
Oh, it's the end of 2020. That's still 2020.
So it's called So Far Greater Than Empire.
Yeah,
is
that's a good one.
is
That's a
the
good
song
one.
We're talking about.
I always pay attention to the intros and outros. That's why, because it's just you could have a good album without good intros and outros. It's just as a music fan, you pay attention to that because I feel like those are the biggest differences. Like there's a growth over an album. There's a journey they're trying to take you on. And through the intro and outro, you can understand better, what they're going through, what they were feeling with the album. So I always pay attention to that. But Durk is not Durk. Gunna is so good. Durk is really good as well.
Yeah, they're both hot.
They're
We
both
talk
really
about it. They just demand it. Gunna, I believe, he was just kind of hitting his stride, like with him and Thug.
Bro, if Gunna and Thug make it out, there's gonna be some good music drop.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Thug's gonna have some.
Thug's been booling on Twitter right now, so.
Wait, he's on Twitter?
Bro, he's on Twitter saying ruthless shit, bro. He
No
was
way.
like, dude, yeah, dude.
It's gotta be someone in his team.
No.
He has a
dude.
phone?
Yes, bro.
He's
out
in
there.
he's in
Yeah.
solitary confinement.
Bro, he is out there sending tweets, bro. He was out there trying to get his girlfriend to post, send pictures to his phone
did
so
see
he
that.
could so he could get one off, dog.
Yeah, I did. I did see something.
Bro, he
about
was
that.
tagging Michael Phelps and stuff. Oh yeah, bro, 100%. Whoa.
He's not posting on Instagram, just Twitter.
Just Twitter. Yeah,
I don't know.
that's kind of crazy.
I think that's propaganda.
All right, so we're talking taglines here, but I think we should just talk about them. If you like it, don't like it.
I think every one we're about to play, I really like.
These are all the hottest ones. I thought,
And
we
then
were
there's
gonna maybe-
one selfish favorite.
Yeah, I think this is almost like a top 5-ish that I made, and there was a couple selfish ones on there.
For sure, but there's always selfish ones. That's music is selfish.
For sure. All right,
like
I
anything.
feel like we should run them. So I'm gonna put these on. First one.
Metro Boomin is legit. So
Metro's probably got the hottest tag, but he's got a few. He's got a few that he goes in and out of.
I'll never forget one of my high school friends. Best tweet ever. It was one of the best tweets ever. It was when Metro Boomin was just hitting his stride, and he tweeted because we had a snow day, and then he tweeted again. He's like, Metro Boomin wants some more snow days, and it was the best tweet ever. I'm not gonna drop his name, but I'm gonna send him this clip, and he'll love this because he knows.
That's jokes. Honestly, bro, I was going through my old Twitter, and I realized, old Twitter,
ruthless.
bro, it was ruthless, but it was hilarious, bro. It was
ruthless.
conversational.
Yeah,
Bro, you should have throwing flirt
because it was
girls,
you were
bro.
tweeting back and forth.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
dude, I'll never forget
beefing.
middle school Twitter. Middle school Twitter was crazy.
Bro, I was going through it, bro. I was beefing with people on Twitter, dog. I was like, bro, I had to delete them. I was like, dude, what was I doing on this? You know what I mean?
Dude, Twitter was
crazy,
nuts
bro. That was high school,
crazy.
middle school.
It was just Xbox Live was a lot different as kids than it is now too.
For sure.
It was a different world. There's no doubt.
For sure. All right, on to the next one.
KJ, what you got going on, man?
That's a selfish one for us,
Bro, but KJ's got some hot songs out.
This has some.
he got hot
one of his
songs
songs won a Grammy, so
Yeah, dude,
it's pretty cool.
KJ's got it going on.
Yeah,
Bro,
for sure.
Shout out KJ. That one's hot.
Take heat, fuck these niggas up.
Take He's got a pretty hot.
That's a good one. That's a notable one.
That's and the reason why
Probably gonna be a hit.
I like tags because exactly when you hear that you're like, all right, it's gonna be a hit.
I've always paid attention to
Always.
the tags, but
It's
it
psychological.
was
bro.
I've always paid attention to them, but I've never been oh, this song's about to be lit because it's that producer. In my head, it's just that's a cool tag.
No,
I've always thought
I've
about it
always
that.
thought when you
There's
hear a
always,
Metro,
of
you're
course. But yes, there are certain guys you hear for sure. But I'm saying for the majority, I'm always oh, that's a cool tag.
bro, you hear a KJ tag, bro, you know it's gonna be hot.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, on the next one here.
Yo, Pierre, you wanna come out here?
That's what you were talking about this one the other day.
Bro, this
which is
one,
Jamie Foxx.
Bro, that's hot.
Jamie Foxx show, I believe it came from. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the exact show it came
did
from,
have a
but it
show.
is Jamie Foxx, and I think that's sick because that's actually from a show. Bro, that's
That's a cool one.
That's actually
a
kind of
cool one.
sick. All right, on to the next one here.
We got London on the track.
That's a hot. That's a hot.
London's always got it.
Yeah,
got
that's
a
a
hot.
hot
I was thinking I didn't clip the Mike Will made it, but that's also a hot one.
What's the Mike Will made it? I don't.
It-
You got to make a noise for
Mike Will made it.
it. It just says it. Just
That's not it.
that's probably my favorite one. Low key, that is probably my favorite.
Rick Ross, that's so smooth, especially when he's rapping
Because
over it.
that
and they do
Maybach
it.
music was when him and Meek were doing a lot of shit together too.
Yeah.
And bro, they dropped some good music. And Rick Ross is, bro, he's a boss, bro. He's legit, sitting on 35 acres, whatever he's doing. No, that Maybach music tag is that's legit. That's legit.
I just like it because every time he raps, bro, he just hits it at the end. It's like at the end when he's done, he's like, Maybach music.
Dude, what year was that? That I feel like all we did was hear that. I was in high school.
I mean, bro, that's probably 2013, bro. 2012. All right, I think I got two more.
You should have my selfish one.
Two more.
Yeah, that's a hot one.
I like that one because I think that's Baka. I think that's Baka Not Nice.
Better run that bitch, so it's not nice.
I think that's Baka OVO.
It might be.
And he's just saying murder on the beats, so that's not nice.
Oh, he's saying murder on the beats?
Yeah.
So is that murder beats?
It's murder beats tag. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
I didn't realize that.
Bro, I think that's Baka Not Nice.
I feel like I've heard that tag a million times though.
For sure. But that's why I think it is. And then this is Zachary.
And then this is a selfish favorite one of mine.
Zachary. A little shout out to Rod Wave on this one.
Zachary making peace again. Yeah, so that tag's on all week. Rod Wave. He might even have some more songs with Rod Wave, but I know for sure it's the all week. Obviously, it says Zachary, which is my name, on my favorite artist song. So that's a selfish one. Selfish music's selfish. This is our podcast, so I'm gonna be selfish with it.
Yeah, I know Durk's got a guy who an old producer. R.I.P. He died, but yeah, it was like turn me up, Josh. And it was like, bro, I was like, bro,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's
I like
a good
that
one.
So you wanna?
Do you want to talk?
Yeah,
we can talk about the blockchain stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
So one thing I believe, and this is kind of going futuristic, but I just think where music is always going to go, obviously with the internet being very relevant in everybody's life and pretty much consuming everybody's life, what the blockchain will allow you to do is these artists, instead of signing with record labels where the record labels control them, they give them the upfront money, but they're making way more money off on the back end, controlling their music, stuff like that. I just think the blockchain, we've talked about NFTs on this show, and where I believe that's going to go, it's going to allow these artists to have their closest fans, buy NFTs, whatever, give them money so they can still control their music. Like, obviously they have people that are invested in them, but they control their music, what they need to do, and then they pay off their fans instead they're paying off a record label. I think it'll just be more decentralization, and it'll just put the power back with the artists where it should be.
Yeah, you're just investing stock in the artist. Like that's
it's
really
like buying
what it
a
is.
stock.
Yeah, it's like that's what it's gonna be like. I mean, and it's not just gonna be artists. I think it's gonna be anything, entrepreneurs, whatever. I think it's gonna be any person. And I heard Gary Vee talk about this, and he was like talking about how it's like there's always a struggle phase for any entrepreneur, artist, whatever.
Yes.
And it's like this is gonna allow them to almost get through that phase without having to struggle as much and be able to just create without having to imagine anybody. Yeah. It's like you have to work to do things. Like if you start to be an artist right away, even if you're great, you're not going to make money right away. Like rarely does that happen.
And the one thing with record labels, and I guess I've always known that the record labels do control the music. Like they kind of tell you what type of music to put out. But the one person who talked about it a lot is Lil Durk, where he was at a record label where they only wanted him to make certain type of music, and he said it fucked him up as an artist. And then he had someone who signed him and was literally like, do whatever you want, like this is like, I believe in you. And that's where Lil Durk has taken that step up. It's because when you're allowed to be creative and do whatever you're feeling, it allows you to grow and to find your own lane and also just be happier with it, which I think NFTs, buying stock, honestly, we say NFTs, but it's literally going to be like buying a stock.
For sure.
Everybody has on their phone, you can go buy a stock. Like that is what it's going to be. It's going to be that easy at some point. I don't know how many years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever.
Right.
But what it allowed to do is allow these artists to make what they want to make. Because when someone's talented, as long as they're constantly working at it and they love it, they're going to get to where they want to get to. It just might take time. But when you can, I'll wrap this up, but someone like Lil Durk, if he would have stayed trying to make that music and not being creative, he wouldn't be where he's at today.
It's just like the process of how record labels are today. It's like they own the artist completely. Like they're making billions a month.
Yeah.
And these artists are, they're getting a little sliver of their shit.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. And these labels are like, no, you guys basically owe us. Like we're like losing on you. Like in reality, they were saying like, I was watching some video of a guy who was talking about like Death Row, and he's like, yeah, they would make like $2 billion a whole year. Now they're making like $2 billion a month.
Who Death Row Records is
Like
now?
no, that's what they were like. All these.
Oh,
record,
that's like these all these
these
record labels.
Like
are
he was
doing
like just
that.
talking about in general. Like he was like these labels. They were making like they make like $1 billion a year and be like, oh, I'm happy with it. Now they're making that a month because everything is so like they get it in every which way, right?
But the music game is only like $10 billion. I think is an industry or something, maybe 20 billion, and it's like, and you think about it, it's like that's small. Like that's not a lot. It's going to be massive. I mean, music's probably at least $1 trillion business, honestly, at least.
I mean, music is everything.
I agree.
Like,
I think music is everything.
I think from like the earliest
It's at least
stages
$1 trillion.
of humans, but like earliest humans made music.
The tribal music, it's always been a thing. It's
always,
rhythm. It's spiritual.
It's in our fucking as humans
100%.
to do that.
100%. I think the music game is this, and I think what the internet allows it to do is grow massively.
I just think that's why like I think that it's gonna force the record labels to change. Because I think there's a lot of things like John Shahidi talks about how these labels don't want them to like YouTubers say. They don't want YouTubers to use their music, when in reality it helps the artists, it helps the record labels.
Yeah.
Because these YouTubers are getting millions and millions of views, and they want to use your song and promote your songs, and instead they're like, nah, man, you got to pay us all this money to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, why? I can go fucking pay a royalty-free song right here for a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and you're 100% right. But I want to kind of segue almost back to, because you said Death Row Records. Obviously, Snoop Dogg bought Death Row, and Snoop Dogg's been big on the internet, NFTs. I think he has his own NFT, maybe.
Yeah, he does.
Maybe. I think he has some like doggy style, something. Don't quote me. I
I thought Death Row.
And I thought Death Row was doing something, and I think with him buying Death Row, it's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to make it to where it's it's an NFT where you can buy, and I think Snoop Dogg will do it right. Snoop Dogg's not in the business to fuck over artists, and that's why I almost like artists to make their own labels and not have these big media giants doing it, because they're going to run it like a real business. When you're someone who's came up in the game and have the struggles, you're going to be more pro artist, and I think that's where it needs to get to, and it will get to.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Snoop is respected by everyone.
Dude, Snoop Dogg he's an icon. Bro. He's an icon. For people who don't even...
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, he's loved by almost everyone.
For sure. And think about this.
He beat a murder case. So just think about that.
For sure.
And he's loved by everyone.
And the one thing with Snoop Dogg is, bro, people don't even know him for his music these days. Like, kids love him.
Yeah.
Our parents love Snoop Dogg. They don't listen to his fucking music.
But you don't know who that Gunna?
That's how big of a star he really is.
Obviously, Snoop is a bigger star, but like when I think of like Ice Cube, like OG Ice Cube, like when we were growing up,
Ice Cube
was like an actor to me.
He's definitely gotten quieter.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he was a rapper that turned actor.
Yeah.
But like when I was growing up, he was an actor. So it was like, bro, I knew him as an actor, and I was like, oh
I
shit.
didn't listen to Ice Cube.
I was like, oh shit, he was an NWA. I realized that like after, like I'm like, damn, bro, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Which made me think, I was like, dude, that's kind of wild, because he went from NWA to like just making like, are you there yet? Like, I don't know.
He also he was also older when we was doing it. He also was trying to get out of the music game, and when he was in the music game, and NWA, Death Row Records, like they were new on the scene where they were in it. Like back in the day, the music game was
also let's talk about the music game. All these musicians want to get into it, like such as like guys like Lil Dicky. He knew he could make music to leverage himself to get into like acting, producing, directing, whatever. But it's like the money's there. Look at a guy like Ludacris. Ludacris has made like hundreds of millions of dollars with all of his movie deals he's done. He made like $20 million with music, and he dropped a lot of music.
Yeah, he was all on the radio growing up.
He was hot for a while.
He was all on the radio.
But now, like, bro, he's not known for his music. He's known for his act. Like, he's an actor.
Literally. Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. He's got a new movie
He's
on
a legend.
Netflix.
He's got a movie on Netflix?
Brand new movie, yeah. I think it's kind of like a thriller, too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been on Netflix, so
very interesting.
Maybe I'll check it out. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But that's good. That was a good conversation. I appreciate everybody listening. kind of wrap up what we did. We talked top 5 songs, top 5 albums with some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Talked, producer tags, and also talked about the decentralization of music. It was a long conversation, bro.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, it was. But we appreciate everybody tuning in. If you made it this far, leave us a review at the bottom, like, comment, subscribe, share with others. We want to continue to do this. Obviously, we also want to continue to have podcast ideas. So if there's anything you want us to talk about, let us know. But we appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
I never had to tell my dogs that we on route for greatness. They paper getters, they want money more than they want fame shit. I swear we go so hard, we on A-list. I see my niggas prevailing. We going hard for the hand, we gonna stack till we jaded. I just told my niggas that we on a mission. Yeah. It's gonna be hard to get it. We too on par for the misses. I put my heart and my feelings on tracks I don't even feel. We bout till we drippin'. Prove these niggas wrong that said I won't make the show. We had them bitches sold it high and niggas sold it hello. I sold them packs to get them right shit. I was stuck on my lows, and now I'm trying to get up. I told them niggas what's up, and now I'm singing. Yeah.